Hey everyone, this is Dan Vuksanovich at whyisuckatguitar.com, and today's lesson is part 3 of a series entitled I Suck at Guitar Because My Fretting Hand is a Tense, Inaccurate Mess. In part 1, we talked about how to get our arm, our hand, and our fingers comfortable before playing, and we talked about fretting single notes. In part 2, we talked about linking notes together, and in part 3, we're going to talk about applying these concepts to an actual piece of music. I've been playing the Prelude from Bach's Third Cello Suite for quite some time now. And when I first started playing this piece, my fretting hand was tense and inaccurate, just like the title of the lesson. But with slow, careful practice and study of my muscles, here's an excerpt of what it sounds like now. So let's talk about the process for taking this excerpt, splitting it up again, and getting it all the way down to the point where the little pieces of it look like the exercises that we did in part 2. So the first thing that I did with this excerpt was I split it into its component parts. And there are a few phrases that descend in sequence. The first one is this. And there's this one, and then this, and then this, and then this, and finally, now within each one of those phrases are two parts. First there's this part, and then there's this. Now we're getting down to the point where we can actually start breaking 5, 6 notes down into 2 notes, 3 notes, even single notes if we have to. So for example, let's say that we tried to play this first phrase and we had a problem with the first part, this part. Now, I'm going to turn off the volume, I'm going to take my picking hand, and I'm going to stop picking notes, and I'm going to start doing exactly what we did in part 2 of this series, which is I'm going to start placing 2 fingers. I'm going to see if I can release. Then I'll place the next finger, and I can see if I can release. Place the next finger. Can I go back down? Then I'll try and speed it up just a little bit, take the governor off a little, maybe not be as strict about having 2 fingers on the fretboard at the same time. Once I'm comfortable with that, maybe I'll introduce my picking hand again. If there's something that's still stuck, if there's still a part where my hand is turning into the claw, then I want to go back and I want to focus on just that part. Maybe it's getting from string to string, from the B on the 12th fret on the B string up to the C sharp on the 9th fret of the E string. So once again, I'll turn my volume back off, no more picking hand, and I'll just go back and forth for a while. And I'll do some of the tests that we did in part 1. Can I move my wrist? Can I move my thumb? Is there any other part of my body that is tense? Can I move the fingers that are not fretting notes? All of these things come into play, and really what we're doing is we're diving into our toolkit for peering into this problem and trying to figure out exactly what's causing it, working that out, and then once we've got it worked out, can we put the rest of the notes back around the problem and now have it be easy? So that's really what I did for the entire excerpt, and in fact, for the entire prelude. It's a really nice way of taking what looks like a big, difficult piece and getting it down to the point where there are parts that you can work on that are actually manageable. And the last thing that I'll do during a practice session where I'm trying to get an excerpt under my hands is, if I've been working on all the little parts of it, I want to make sure that I can connect all the parts and I can turn it back into the excerpt that it is. So without the picking hand, no volume, can I run the whole thing with just my fretting hand, like this? That's another great way to ferret out problems. If you can't hear the piece, if you're not picking the notes, it's a great way to figure out, do I have this A memorized, and B, are there problems that I'm having within my fretting hand, and because I've isolated my fretting hand, I know that they aren't problems that are happening, for example, because my picking is off. So there you have it. Those are some nice tools for you to apply to a piece of music that you're working on and get it under your left hand and make it effortless. Great, it's easy. So now what? Now we can start making music. Now that my hand isn't about to fall off and I'm not spending all my time worried about where my next blowout's going to be, I can focus on things like rhythm, accentuating the pulse that so often drives Bach's music, tempo. At what tempo does this piece make the most sense? Phrasing. Where are the beginnings and ends of the musical ideas? How can I best explain those ideas to listeners? Here are some things that you can do with these fretting hand concepts as you apply them to actual pieces of music. Take a section that's fairly easy and make it completely effortless. That means that you never miss, ever. It's like breathing. Take a section that's difficult and move the needle to not so difficult, and then a little less difficult, and then kind of easy, and then effortless. Apply these concepts to something that you've been working on for quite a while in order to try to break some bad habits. Apply these concepts to something brand new to see what it feels like to learn a new piece of music without all of these bad habits. In each case, you'll get something different out of the experience. So try them all and see what happens. Your homework is to take at least one piece of music and apply some of the fretting hand concepts that we've been working on. Once it starts to get easier, your brain will have bandwidth available so that you can start making music. So start doing more than just playing the notes. In conclusion, never lose sight of the fact that the ultimate goal is always to make music. Working on improving your fretting hand is a means to an end, not an end in itself. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time at whyisuckatguitar.com.